Good morning and welcome to yet another MindShift Monday where we talk family, finances, and just about whatever you guys want to talk about. So once again, comments are great, leave one below. Right now we are still in that financial series. We're going to be in that for quite a while. And we are fortunate enough to have Joe Baxley with us again for another MindShift Monday. And Joe, thanks for coming back. Thanks for your talk last week on your budget, and we just appreciate you being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, and it's been my honor, and I just hope that we can help folks out there and kind of clear the air and help people have some fresh new beginnings for this new year. And
so last week we talked Joe's budget. Why don't you just kind of carry us on from there? What the next step is?
Well, last week we talked about our budget, what me and my wife do, and we work on a bi-weekly budget. We get paid twice a month, average 26 paydays a year. So what my wife and I do, we budget like we talked about last week, not on a monthly budget, but on a bi-weekly budget. So we just do it every 2 weeks. We work out a budget, we write it on paper, we make a plan, and we pay our bills that way. Now, I know that not all budgets are created equal, not all incomes are created equal. Some people might get paid annually, some people monthly, bi-monthly, weekly, whatever the case is. Some folks are even getting irregular incomes. So there's all kinds of budgets that you can do. The irregular income seems to be, I guess, somewhat the most confusing. But basically, you just line out your stuff from priority. You just prioritize the most important at the top of the list, and you work it on down. And I'm talking about all of your four walls, your house, your clothing, your transportation, and your utilities. And then you just start from there, but your four walls are always the most important. And then you just go down the line. And as you go down the line, if you run out of money, then you draw a line there, and then next payday you pick up from where you left off. Now another thing is too, if you have an irregular income and you're at $2,000 one month and $5,000 the next month, so you just average out, and that's what you would budget on, and the bigger months you're going to be coming out okay, and the smaller months, there's probably where you're going to be drawing that line at.
This week we want to go on to now all things debt, and we know a majority of Americans carry debt of some kind, whether that be, the car payment, credit card, maybe a lot of people do have mortgage, things of that nature. So how do we get to the point where, like you're at, how do we get debt free, and what are the added benefits of being debt free?
Well, the added benefits of being debt free is all the money that you go to work to make is now yours, 100%. You don't go to work to be going to work for the company store or all the people you have debt with. And the biggest thing is debt is basically you're just a slave to the lender, and you're going to work because you're a slave. You're slaving to make the money to pay them. The best way that me and my wife got out of debt was we got on the Dave Ramsey plan, and is what he teaches is the first thing you do is you get $1,000 set aside for your emergency fund. It's called your beginner emergency fund. Once you got that done, and you could take probably up to about a month at the most, for the most part, to get that. You can sell things, do what you can, get the money raised up. And then after that, you just lay out all of your consumer debt from smallest to largest amount owed. We're not too much worried about the interest rates. We're not worried about any of that, just smallest to largest amounts owed. And as what that does is, as you're paying off the smallest amounts, you're getting these little wins. As you get these little wins, you get that momentum behind you. And is how that works is you make your smallest amount owed, you get that paid off. Whatever that payment was, you take that payment plus any extra income that you have after your budget and whatnot, and you apply it to the second one. And then once you get the second one paid off, you got the first two payments plus any extra monies. Now you're adding that to the third one. You just get bigger and bigger and bigger with that. With your income, you got to try to get your income as big as you can. Basically, we call that your shovel. You're already in the hole, and in the hole of debt. So basically, is what you do is you stop the bleeding. Stop borrowing all the monies you can. Just stop borrowing money. stop taking out loans and stop having these little crises and borrowing money. And for me is what we ended up doing. We had a 401k loan. That's one of the worst things you have, because you just unplug monies from your retirement and you lost some potential. But along with that is and another way you get your shovel bigger is you stop all investments, you stop all retirement, you bring that money home. For the amount of time it's going to take, it isn't going to make that big of a difference to do this. And the bottom line is the debt is what's killing you. It isn't the stopping the retirement. So a lot of people get hung up on that. Just follow the plan, follow the way it is. It's helped millions of people out. But stop your 401k, stop your investments, your IRAs and all that stuff. Bring that money home, get that paycheck bigger, get your shovel big, get unburied, get out from underneath all that debt. As soon as you get that debt paid off, my wife and I, it took us 18 months, we paid off $71,000. And we did sell a bunch of stuff, and we just raised money. We did what we had to do. We worked double time, extra time, and all this other stuff. After you get your debt paid off, you want to go back and revisit the emergency fund, that $1,000 that you initially put away. Now you want to build it up to 3 to 6 months of your emergency expenses, what it takes to operate your household.
Joe talked about that $1,000 emergency fund, and Joe, tell us where exactly that fits after the budget, and why is that so important to start doing?
It's important because now you've got a plan. You're getting a plan built up to get out of debt, and you don't want anything to come and upset that plan of your debt snowball. So yes, we do $1,000, nothing more, because within the amount of time, it's not. We just pray that we don't have like a major catastrophe where we need to have more money. But normally, like my wife and I, it's 18 months. So 18 months at $1,000, and we just push through life. That $1,000 is just a beginner emergency fund for the water heater going out. Well, it's just $1,000 to get you by. And to come up with the money, there's all kinds of ways. There's stuff in the garage and the house all over the place that if you're not using it, sell it. If it's really attached to you and you choose to sell it, once you can live like nobody today, you can live and give like nobody tomorrow. So you could just, if you really want it, go replace it when you're debt free and pay cash for it. So that $1,000 is really important. Just got to stick to your commitment, stick to your plan, and budget. Budgeting is the most important thing in this whole getting out of debt stuff, because now you're telling your monies what to do. You're able to get that $1,000 saved up, and you can start your debt snowball and get out of debt, because the bottom line is getting out of debt isn't the end of the road. The end of the road is what you want to do later on in life, and with what you're making at your jobs. Your monies, not the monies you're making so you're going to pay everybody. The end of the road is what you're dreaming about doing later on in life that you seem to right now that you can't do because you got all this debt. Get out of debt and go live your dream. I mean, right now you should already be working on your budget. You should be starting to get that ironed out. But your $1,000 emergency fund, that is the first step. Get that $1,000. Your budget's going to be a living deal. It's going to be living and breathing and always changing and this, that, and the other. Like I said, it takes about 90 days to get that all ironed out between you and your spouse and actually get really secure in your budget, in your numbers, and all the stuff that you forgot the first time. Well, you're not going to forget all those the second time. You iron out all the wrinkles. But the emergency fund is the very first thing you do once you start living on a budget. If by chance you are back on your utilities, you owe more, you're late on those utilities, gas, water, whatever, your electricity, whatever, you have to get current before you do anything. Get current with all of your utility bills, your 4 walls first. Once you are current with your 4 walls, then you can start working on a budget, build up, get your emergency fund, sell things.
Yeah, and really do work that $1,000 just as fast as you can. That's really, really important. Like Joe said, sell what you gotta sell. It's not a long drawn out thing. It's amazing how fast you can scrape together and get $1,000 put into an account. And if this isn't something that you're trying to put into an account that's going to make a whole bunch of interest and whatever. This is something that you might have to get at. Make it accessible, but don't make it too accessible. Don't leave it in your sock drawer. You know, put it into some kind of account that you've got to go and get it, and you know what it's for, and get it in there as fast as you can get it put away.
Yeah, we use the money market account at the beginning. Now we just use the savings account. That's actually with this particular bank paying us a little bit more better than the money market account. But that's really irrelevant because it isn't money that you need to be setting to the side to make you money. It is basically you're insuring. You're taking some liability on yourself, some insurance on yourself, and you're being self-insured for whatever life throws your way. It's life. Life happens, and it's what we want to do is have this emergency fund to take care of these things that life throws at you, so we'll never ever have to borrow money again.
So let's go through the way that you paid off your debts, and we'll go step by step. And the one thing about what Joe has is he's got it all written out. So I'm going to let him go through each debt, go through just a little bit of detail on how he got through it all. And just the wins, just show you how he celebrated each win along the way.
So as we got here, and basically we just lined out all of our debt from smallest to largest. And it went from anywhere from a bunch of small little stuff, but it added up to like $2,000 and $2,030. So that was all of this stuff here, all the little stuff, and we started just getting that paid. We drew lines through it as Mark paid. And then we ended up with a couple of credit cards and credit union accounts and the credit union loans, and I took some loans out for my sons to get them rolling, and then we had a van loan. We had a 401k loan, which was a pretty big deal, and a car loan. And the van loan right here came up simply because we were going to end up selling this car, so we needed a replacement vehicle. And that's the thing, at this time, we started out at $28,000 owed on that car. We ended up selling it eventually at $17,500 because we've already paid it down that much. So we had a little bit of equity in it, so is what we ended up doing. We bought this van instead. And we call that stupid tax or whatever. I would rather much be in debt for $5,000 than I would for, at this time, $21,000. So once we sold the car, we had this, but we just started paying everything off one by one and all of this stuff. And before you knew it, that $2,030, we just started rolling that over into other debts. And before you know it, we just got it all paid off. The first year we started in, as of February 2015, we paid off $34,945.87 in 1 year later. So basically it took us 1 year to pay this off. But as of July of 2015, we finished it all up. But all total, it was $70,999.48. And I was able to take over my son's loans that I co-signed for them, this one and this one. So when they graduated, I took over these loans so they don't have to take care of it no more because it was my mistake for co-signing for them. The very last thing I was able to pay off was my 401k. Those you can't just make extra monthly payments to it. You have to make your regular monthly payment to it out of your paycheck or whatever, but you just have to rat hole the money until you can just tackle it with a full payment. And we got that done as soon as we got all this other stuff out of the way. So yeah, and we saved this, we laminated it, we saved it just so we can know where we came from, so we'll never forget where we came from. You got to take that first step. You got to start taking that walk, and find your reason, find your why between you and your spouse if y'all are married. If not, if you're single, find your why. Find out why you need to do this, and you're not. It's just an awesome deal to be able to get out of debt. And if y'all have any comments, questions, or whatever, feel free to leave a comment or a question or whatnot in the link below, and we can go from there.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's been a real privilege to be here with Joe and to get his perspective on paying off debt. This is a guy who's been on both ends of this deal, and you know, what he's done here is he's changed his legacy for his children, and and he's changing a lot of lives by showing he's doing financial classes and helping people out that way. Him and his wife are, and so they're committed to changing generations after them, because they know what it's like to be on the one end and they know what it's like to be on the debt-free end, and it's a lot better on the end that they're at now. So we do hope you enjoyed our time with Joe as much as I did, and once again, like Joe said, do leave a comment and let us know what you think, and we'll see you next week on MindShift Monday.
Have a good one.